Good morning. Good morning. Today is Saturday, March 14th. My name is Lisa Maxwell, and we'll be using the Scapes Tarot deck by Barbara Moore and by Stephanie Puyman Law and Barbara Moore. It's not one this is one of my favorite decks. I love this deck. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck. I love the imagery. Let's just make sure the cards are all upright. They are. If anything comes out in the reverse, as I've talked about in other videos, I always put my cards all upright. I'm conscientious about that. But if a card flips and comes out up, maybe flips to the floor, you know what I mean, or just kind of comes out in the reverse, it doesn't always mean the negative aspect. There's light and dark to everything. To everything. What seems like a dark time or a dark situation, or when we're not working in the best energy, the best version of ourselves, we're not showing up the way we want, and we're coming from a really small, mean, unenlightened place. Getting a lot of angel itches in my nose. We do things that we don't mean, and they are mean. But if we look at our motives, if we can get really clean and understand and take the time, this is again what meditation is for. That's a time that you kind of set aside as sacred to understand these aspects of yourself that come out. Like, what happens? What happened in that situation? Why did I do that? And then we have then we start to get that education. We start to get that enlightenment that comes from meditation, from taking the time with yourself to understand these aspects of yourself that are dark, that are turned around, that are in reverse, that are making it feel like your life is going in reverse. And then we start to say, well, I really would, you kind of, maybe some things that come up during meditation or those quiet times are these feelings or these, kind of replays of encounters where, things didn't go well and it feels hurtful. And that's, again, the time to feel those feelings when you're not actually in the moment of the interaction. So that's why meditation provides a safe container, because you're not actually, it just gives you the time to kind of like feel what that feels like, to feel the judgment that you have about yourself. And maybe, maybe some of that judgment is accurate. Like, you just have to admit, yep, did not do well there. That's not what I meant. And then we also start to gain the strength to make the amends that we like. So yesterday, I didn't look at the astrology charts this morning, but yeah, the moon's got to be in Aquarius at this point. It was moving through Capricorn and into Aquarius yesterday. The moon is the fastest moving body, so it affects how we feel, So now it's in Aquarius, and we want to be like more high vibe, right? We want to be vibrating. We want to be in a higher, loving energy, because when we attract to us, more loving situations. We respond, we hear, we kind of intuitively hear the vibe of, my daughter was sending me some really great music this morning, and I just love like the flow of it. God is the DJ. Anyway, settle down. I'm feeling the need to settle down now and just shuffle the cards. I haven't touched this deck in quite some time. Time to get reacquainted with an old friend. Yeah, we want to take this one. All right. So the first card, yeah, Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is a card of, experiencing times when we've made poor judgment. Maybe we've made assumptions. Assumptions, that word is coming up for me right now, and it's caused some heartbreak and maybe a sticky situation that you can't quite get out of. Like this poor thing can't turn around and pull those swords out of its back. There's a broken heart, bleeding heart behind it. Here's another card here. Oh, actually, two cards that have come up. And one of them is the Page of Swords. So, again, maybe some things are coming up that are, sharp to hear, sharp to understand. But they're truth. Swords are truth. And at the bottom of the last card that came up is the Death card. So something is some kind of ego death, but out of a death is only the beginning. Out of a situation that, whatever it is closing down, comes the space. It's just like, this is burnt over, like that's what I'm getting. This is burnt over country. This is a phoenix rising. This is burnt over country. Sure, we can stay in this kind of heartbreak situation. We can perpetuate that. Or we can start like diving into the truth of the matter. And it might be a little hard to hear. It might come from tackles, but stepping back from the judgment and the labels and the blame and the shame pieces of, something can be true, but then when we're actually now blaming and shaming, and we're not we're not taking accountability. This is a page. This is only information coming in. This isn't something that's, to be taken as Bible. This isn't something that's to be taken as, be taken in we can review it with a critical eye, but it's not something to be taken as a, in a fearful way. As, okay, now we have to do something. Like this almost like promotes a knee-jerk reaction. And that's the kind of stuff that needs to die. Like that egoic, now I've got information, now I need to do something with it immediately. No. And maybe that's something you're looking at. You're like, oh yeah, I see where I've done that in the past, and I needed this to be that and the other thing, and I scrambled, but maybe that wasn't the best setup. And, that came from an egoic place, and maybe that's a hard thing to hear. Like, oh, my intentions were good. Truth. Out of a heartbreak situation, maybe I responded too quickly to a situation, and, perhaps ended up, now I have the opportunity. This is actually a card of opportunity to start over. But can we be, given these, can we choose forgiveness rather than heartbreak? Let the information about this heartbreak create the grounds for something new. Out of the ashes comes beauty. Yeah, bottom of the deck, the Lovers. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what to say to that. I just feel like so much beauty from this card. Lovers. Can we rise from the ashes and come to something like that? Love everything around you, because time is short. Don't stay in this kind of energy and reaction. I'm going to pull a card from the Blessed Be deck. Because I organized some of my cards yesterday. Had surgery, so it's like I have time to kind of do some stuff. Yeah, a blessing on your day. Again, another 5 card, a blessing on your day. Love what you have right in front of you. The more you love what you're doing in the moment, and you stop blaming and shaming yourself for things of the past, and just understand and forgive yourself. You were doing the best with what you had. And you're learning all the time. Create a loving environment right where you are. Everything that you have. Blessing on your day. I don't even know if I need to pull a card from here. Yeah, I don't even know if I need to pull a card. I think that blessing on your day. Let's see if I can find it again. Yeah, actually, the card that's coming up is, and it was upside down, and again, in a deck that I haven't touched forever. But you know I do my cards. A blessing on a resolution. This came in the reverse, so that's why it caught my eye when I was looking for the other card. It was a blessing on a resolution. I'm going to leave it at that. Like, share, subscribe, send this to somebody who you feel needs it. If you want your own private reading, please direct message me on any of the platforms. It'll be on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Have a wonderful, blessed day.